Good morning, friends. Today it is Neat Rabbit Colony Clean Out Day. I've had some people ask me, what do we do with the buildup of poop at our meat rabbit colony? Some people with colonies clean them out every single day. We are not those people. We prefer to do more of a deep litter method in our colony and clean it out once a month, once every other month. So with the rabbits, they poop where they eat and drink. They will continuously poop, but it's usually always where they eat and drink because as stuff goes in, stuff goes out. So most of their mess is up front, confined by their feeders. So that is where we'll have the deepest litter. As you get on back, and it's like nest box area and stuff like that, there's not much you'll find back there of poop wise or bedding material because they like to scratch it all out and kind of dig into the ground, especially during the hot summer, digging down into the dirt, and they lay in it with their bellies, and that helps keep them really cool during our heat. If you have not seen my meat rabbit colony videos, our meat rabbit colony is 8 by 16 feet. It has 2 by 3 black welded wire that it's kind of hard to see on camera, plus chicken wire going all the way around. The 2 by 3 welded wire goes a foot into the ground so predators cannot dig in. This chicken wire runs down under the colony 1.5 feet across and back up. So they cannot dig out either. I, with a shovel, dug down 1.5 feet, sometimes 2 feet in some places because I got a little carried away, and dug all that dirt out so we could bury wire, and then shoveled all of that dirt back in there. It's all on video. I got the proof. We have an entire 3-part rabbit colony build series where you can see everything we done to get to this point. But we need to get this sucker cleaned out. Before we get started, I wanted to show you one thing that was like a major waste of money and I don't recommend you do. Ready? This waterer, this metal waterer from Tractor Supply. I think it's actually made to water chickens. It was great because it holds a whole lot of water. I think it's like 3 gallons, but I'm gonna get the water out of it. It rusted. The entire insides of it is rusted. Not using that one anymore. Right now you will just see like their metal feed pan full of water because our rabbits aren't getting pellets anymore. I didn't need the big old feed pan for pellets, and so I just used it for water. Before our next round of breeding begins, which is in like 2 weeks, I've got to get them a different water system because a feed pan that deep and that wide is not safe for baby kits. We do not have any babies in our colony right now. That's why I can get away with it. I will go back to a water containment system like this one, but probably the plastic one. But plastic, you run into issues with rabbits also. I will show you once we get into the plastic in the colony what I mean there. Okay, so let's check on this colony and see how bad it is. I think it's been 2 months since I've cleaned it out. Guys, it's not feeding time. What y'all doing? What y'all doing? Alright guys, back up. Let me in. Let me in. Back up. Back up. Back up. Let me in. Let me in. The branches here on the ground are from different tree branches. I bring them. Those get cleaned out about once a week. Once every other week, depending on how long it takes them to chew the bark off of them. All this yellow hay on the ground is hay that I had brought to them last night. They love to pull it out of their feeder bin. Right here, this hay bin. Kenneth built this for them. And they kind of do their own deep litter method. So as I move this away, you'll be able to see that there's a lot of poop underneath it. And they just scatter the hay all over it. It's so funny. So they kind of keep this area cleaned. This up front area back to these PVC pipes are going to be the dirtiest portions of the rabbit colony. So what I will be doing is I will be cleaning all of this out. We're going to get it down to bare dirt. Everything I pull out will go over into the chicken pen over there. Now, rabbit manure can go straight on your garden. It's cold compost, it's fine. My garden has had a lot of rabbit manure this year. At one point we were up to 21 rabbits, so it's gotten a lot. I think it's good right now. The chickens, on the other hand, I can throw all of this in there. They'll pick through it, eat any bugs, get any nutrients out of it. And then all the hay and everything that is on the ground, they'll scratch around in, break down, and it'll become compost. Sorry, rabbit trying to get out. The chickens will turn it into compost for me. Let's get this started. I think they're getting a little impatient. They keep trying to come out the door. I do have on my chicken work boots from Tractor Supply. I really want some rabbit ones, but I haven't found any rabbit ones yet. So if anybody sees any like rabbit muck boots, will you let me know? Because obviously I needed some rabbit ones for today, and I don't have any. So currently we have 4 breeder does in our colony. Nosy Rosie, quit chewing on my tripod! Guys, I hadn't even been in here that long. Stop! Already trying to chew on my tripod. Rabbits, man, rabbits. I have 4 breeder does in here. We have Pretty Girl, which is our white one, our original breeder doe. Nosy Rosie, the brown original breeder doe. Then we have Ruth, is a red eye white breeder doe. She is from Pretty Girl. And Cadbury, our red eye white New Zealand. That is their kit. And then we have Lessa, who is a gold tip steel. She looks black in all of the videos. If you get her in the sunlight, she has like this brownish gold undertone to her coat that makes her look like she's like glowing, I guess you could say. It's really, really pretty. She's got really, really pretty fur. And that's one of the main reasons she got to stay as a breeder, because she's not very friendly, but I really want to breed that fur in. And so that's Lessa. We're trying to make friends. And she is from Nosy Rosie, and who is our brown from our original litter, and Cadbury, our red eye white. Somehow they made Lessa. I don't know. If you are watching over at Dreamweaver's Haven Homestead, I'll link her down below. Victoria has been doing an entire series on rabbit colors, rabbit genetics, how to breed for different coat qualities and stuff like that. I think we're on video 4 in the series now, maybe. It's some really, really good information. So I'm hoping to learn a lot from her to up my genetics game. We'll see how it goes. All 4 of them will start breeding here in the next few weeks. They are all old enough. Lessa and Ruth still look a little on the smaller side, but they are old enough to breed. They're just kind of smaller rabbits, which you don't want in meat rabbits. But over the next few breeding cycles, we are really going to be focusing on upping our build of our rabbits and getting the best qualities from those. So I'll be taking you along to learning how to pose our rabbits, and then figuring out from posing our rabbits and weighing our rabbits who our next breeder does are going to be. We're really, really focusing on building up those lines. So I'm going to start by getting all the sticks out. Ah, really, guys? Another rabbit colony maintenance task we have to do is Pretty Girl like to dig burrows. I can usually find them before they get quite this big and bury them up. Yeah, see, it can't go past there because of the fencing, but that thing is deep. Excuse me, ma'am. I'm trying to bury that. If we were in breeding season already, this burrow could have just been disastrous, because I get in here, I interact with our rabbits, I check our kits, I feed them, you know, I clean out their pen and everything. And if I was to step in a burrow like that had kits in it, I would have squashed them. So that's why we don't allow burrows in our colony, and I fill them in every time I see them. The problem is, rabbits will bury the entrance to their burrows. So if you don't step on them just right, sometimes you don't find them for a while. It's life, man. But I'm going to get this one buried. It's the entrance originally where I stepped in was about 6 inches wide. I'm slowly pushing it in, and it looks like it spreads out another 6 inches under the ground surface. So they didn't get too far with it. And I'm just going to get it covered up. Lessa, baby. I got to get that buried. Lessa, I got to get it buried. Thank you. Also, if we're in breeding season, burying one of these back up is very tricky because you have to make sure you're not burying any kits up in it. Pretty girl, please leave my camera alone. Can I help you? Did you do this? Pretty girl is our digger. That's why her white coat always has brown on her face. She is our digger. She digs almost every burrow we have. Another reason she needs to go to freezer camp. Another problem we have with burrows here is our water table is very, very high. If you have seen our rabbit colony build, we hit water at 3 feet when digging our post holes. Their burrows usually go much deeper than 3 feet. I have found one before by Declan falling into it, and it was slap full of water. He was up to his knee in water. That was during breeding season, so that was kind of scary to make sure there wasn't any babies in there. There wasn't, thankfully, but it was slap full of water. Hey! Don't bite my pants! Rabbits are extremely curious creatures and chew on everything. Stop chewing on my boots! Look, I know they got chickens on them and not rabbits, pretty girl. Look, you're not supposed to chew on my boots. You're not supposed to be chewing on my boots. This is Pretty Girl, our digger. You can tell her apart from Ruth very easily because Pretty Girl has black tips on her ears. Don't you? And she has brown around her eyes. It looks like she's got on eyeliner. And she has one black spot on her back. So, that's our Pretty Girl. Alright, well that is most of the way filled back in. As I clean and scrape stuff around in here, it'll fill in a little more. I don't get too worried about the floor being even because they're just going to dig divots in when it gets hot to lay in anyways. So I don't overstress it. As long as they're not digging underground burrows for somebody to fall into or that kits can get squished in, we're all okay. Most people assume that it takes rabbits a good long while to dig burrows, and they'll tell you like you can have them in a rabbit tractor without a bottom on it if you move them every day, and that is not the case. Rabbits can dig very quickly and they can dig out very quickly. I always recommend bottoms on everything you do with rabbits, from your colony to your tractors to whatever you got going on. Rabbits will dig, and they will dig fast, and they can dig very deep, and they love it. So, yeah, just protect your rabbits. Look at this pine branch. It has like almost no bark left on it. I'll be covering this in my new book that's coming out in October. But pine is not the best source of branches and stuff for your rabbits. If you're going to use pine, it needs to have dried or been kiln dried before your rabbits have it. Green pine has phenols in it, which are toxic to rabbits in large amounts or over long periods of time. The problem is, our rabbits love to chew the bark off of pine. Love it. I use pine needles in all their beddings. I totally break the rules on that. I do try to use things that have been dried, like by the sun, not kiln dried, so that it's better than green pine. But I put this pine branch and a sweet gum branch in here, and the pine is almost barkless and the sweet gum hasn't been touched. Now they prefer the sweet gum leaves over pine needles, but they love the pine bark more than the sweet gum. I will show you I've already thrown the sweet gum out, but I will show you a side-by-side comparison after I get this colony cleaned up. I'll show you what it is. So as I'm scraping away, you can see all of the bunny berries. This bowl, this white bowl, it's only in here while they're being dewormed, and we're doing like parasite prevention. I will go over all of that here in just a little bit. So this pine is like barkless, except for these little bitty pieces. This sweet gum still has all of its bark. They've started chewing on it on the end, and that's it. Pine that they're not supposed to like and not supposed to have. Sweet gum that's okay. Yeah. Y'all are in the rafters because tripod's not safe in here. That's the only safe place I have to put y'all. So this bowl I told you was for our, like, it's for our deworming, parasite prevention, that sort of thing that we do. We don't use medications on our animals. If it come down to it and I absolutely needed a medication, that's different. So we don't use worming medication on our animals. Not even on our goats. Which some people completely disagree with. I got you. If that's not your thing and you want to medicate your animals, you do you, honey. All of our animals except for our dog and our kittens are meat animals. And I really don't want medications in my meat. So instead, we use a natural deworming method using pumpkin seeds. Back up, pretty girl. Back up, pretty girl. That's another thing that will get people fired up. People will either love it or they hate it. I have done my own research on pumpkin seeds, but again, you do you, research it, decide what you want to do. Anyways, raw pumpkin seeds, they have to be raw, they can't be roasted, you don't want salted or anything like that. Raw pumpkin seeds from fresh homegrown pumpkins is always the best. Has a chemical in them that paralyzes the intestinal worms. Now, it don't kill them, it paralyzes them. And then the animal's body has an easier time fighting that worm load and passing the worms through their stool. And that's what we're all about. We're all about building the body's natural ability to overcome worms and disease and infections and stuff like that. In the wild, only the strongest survive, and in here, only the healthiest and biggest survive. Everybody gets pumpkin seeds. I do 1 tablespoon per adult rabbit. I don't do it for any rabbits 8 weeks and younger. 1 tablespoon per adult rabbit of pumpkin seeds, and 1 tablespoon per adult rabbit of oatmeal. Oatmeal just has the bulk and the fiber to kind of help push things on out, and it's easy on their digestive system. 1 tablespoon pumpkin seeds, 1 tablespoon of oatmeal, and hay is all they get on day 1. Now you can choose to do that different. The reason I only do hay and not forage is because our rabbits love their fresh forage and will eat it over anything else, including pumpkin seeds and oatmeal. And then they fill up on their forage and they don't eat the pumpkin seeds and oatmeal. On day 2 of the system, they get 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seeds, 1 tablespoon of oatmeal, hay, and some tree branches. To again, give them some fiber, give them a little bulk to their diet, and to give them something to do. Day 3, I repeat day 2. So all I do is a 3-day system that I do for all of our rabbits. Once you do your parasite prevention program, you kind of want to clean out your deep litter so that they're not getting any of those parasites back into them. Now, we have never actually seen parasites in our rabbits. During butchering, we've never seen parasites. We've never seen parasites in their stool. So I do it more as a preventative thing than as a routine treatment. Goats now are known for having parasites, and I do the pumpkin seeds with the goats also, and we've never had to use a commercial wormer on them. I do them at a 1/4 cup per adult Nubian goat, and so far that's worked for us. Plus our goats are continuously moved on pasture, so they're not like continuously eating over where there still is. Would you stop chewing on my rake? So it is almost impossible to get all of these bunny berries up. It's just would take literally me scraping the entire dirt floor off of. So I get as much as I can, and that's okay. You can see where I've gotten down how rich this soil is. Look, there's worms all over the place. See them? They love this soil. They love rabbit poop. Now, as we walk back here, like I told you, this ground I haven't scraped, and look how much cleaner it is. It looks much, much more like dirt and less like a ton of rabbit poop. Our burrow system has worked really well. We also went back and drilled holes in the top for airflow, but evidently they didn't think we created enough airflow because they chew on the plastic. Now y'all, our rabbits are on an all forage diet. And as soon as they got completely onto this all forage diet, they quit chewing on plastic. When they were being fed pellets, they did all of that damage to that plastic, like crazy amounts. They even chewed on that black tube back there. And that thing is a culvert pipe that is made to drive over. And they have chewed holes in it. Since I switched their diet to all forage and I started feeding them at night, they quit chewing on things except for their forage and their sticks they're given. So with pellets, they were gobbling it all up, and then they had nothing else to do for the next 23 hours and 45 minutes because all of their pellets were gone within 15 minutes. That's how it always happened. Even when I fed them twice a day. And then I fed them once a day, all their pellets, just to see where we're getting. They've always had sticks in here. They've always had things to chew on, but they were bored. Now with a complete forage diet, they can graze, they can go back. There's always something to chew on, something fun, different things. And they're getting their nutrition met in a more natural way, and they have quit chewing on plastic. And I am so thankful for that, because who wants their rabbits to eat plastic? That's how much I cleaned out of their pen. Goodness gracious. So if you're getting into meat rabbits, you want to learn about meat rabbits, you want to learn about feeding your meat rabbits on forage like we do, make sure you are there at the Farm Where You Live event in October. I think it's October 15th and 16th. I will be speaking one of those days. I will announce the schedule when it comes out, about feeding meat rabbits on forage. It is here in South Carolina. This time around it's going to be a 2-day event, with Saturday being a fall festival and Sunday being a teaching day. The fall festival is just going to be a lot of fun. We're all going to hang out together. There's going to be hay rides. There's going to be concerts. It's just going to be good family fun where you can go meet a lot of homesteaders and just enjoy each other. But Sunday is going to be your educational day, and they've got Joel Salatin coming back. Pork Rind will be there speaking about pig nutrition. I think he's teamed up with Billy from Permapastures Farm to do pig butchering. You'll have to check their website to see what all is going on. But I will be there speaking. I will have a booth there. I will be selling my new book at the booth. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, so that's why I'm not really telling y'all a name. But pre-orders will open August 15th for the books. That's my goal, August 15th. So, that's what I'm shooting for. I can't wait for y'all to watch it. No? I can't wait for y'all to read the book. If you're wanting to feed rabbits on a budget, feed them for free, that sort of thing, this book will really, really help you with that. And I'm doing Feeding Through the Seasons as a chapter for those of my friends in really cold climates. That should help you. Let's get this mess over to the chickens. Okay, well, come on, we gotta take this to the chicken.
The battery's on. The battery's on.
The fence is on.
Yeah. Say that. Yeah, little dog. Little dog.
And this is how you make all of your animals and your systems work together. Before next spring, we'll come in here and we will scrape down the chicken pen and put that on our garden beds and let it sit there for a little bit on the garden beds before we plant in them. But that's how our systems are going to continuously work. And it gives the chickens something to do so that they're not bored. So this pine straw I am scooping up is all from last year's fall time. We have lots and lots of pine trees, so we get lots and lots of pine straw on the ground. I just make good use of it. People go out and buy straw. I just use what we have, and it's always worked out really, really well for us. They will go crazy for this stuff when I put it in there. They'll dig through it, get out any like wood chips or pieces of like pine cones or whatever that's in the pine straw. They'll eat what they can, they'll move it all around, they'll have fun playing in it, stuff like that. And then once they get out all the parts they like, they'll just leave the rest of it alone. Like I said, pine in high amounts, especially fresh pine, contains phenols, which is toxic to your rabbits. So do your own research and choose whether you want to do pine straw in your colony or if you want to opt for a hay straw, which is always a better option. We have this, it's free, and this is what our rabbits have always used, so that's what we're gonna do. But make your own choices. All right, back up, dude. I gotta get the straw in there.
I'm sitting.
Okay, so I will leave the back end open because they really, really like to dig in the dirt back there to keep cool. But that's all I do. That's it. Scrape it out, clean it out, throw more pine straw. Now I just need to go get them some branches and they will be happy. Alright, there we go. They're gonna be so happy. Alright friends, well I think we have some happy rabbits this morning. Y'all have spider webs on y'all. Sorry about that. Their colony's been cleaned out. It's got fresh bedding in it. They have fresh branches. I think they are very, very happy rabbits right now. And it puts me on a good start to breeding season, which will start here in the next 2 weeks. And I'm so excited about that. Now, if you are breeding meat rabbits, you may not be able to breed yet. Breeding during the heat is not good. A lot of male rabbits actually won't breed during the heat, or they will and they'll be heat sterile is what it's called, where they don't actually produce sperm. But it's really hard on your does for them to be pregnant in hot, hot weather. And in South Carolina, we have hot, hot weather. However, this shade cloth on the side of our rabbit colony is 70% shade cloth. And it drops the temperature in here by at least 10 degrees, sometimes 15 degrees on a hot day, because that's where the sun comes. And so the sun never hits that side of the colony. It never heats it up inside. It stays much cooler. It does allow airflow through, so they get the cool breezes, but they don't get the hot sun. So that's when we can start breeding our rabbits earlier than other people in South Carolina can, because we have the shade cloth. So August 1st, I will start looking at my 10-day forecast, and as long as my temperatures for 10 days are staying about mid-80s or lower, I will go ahead and start breeding, because that means in my rabbit colony, the temperatures will be well below 80 with the shade cloth. That's all I have for you today, friends. Thank you for joining me as I cleaned out the rabbit colony and got these chores done. It was so good to hang out with you and speak meat rabbits. I do share a whole lot about our meat rabbit journey over on Instagram, so if you're not following me there, make sure you follow that. And make sure you're subscribed here if you want to know more about how our rabbit breeding season's going, about the book that's coming out, and about feeding your rabbits on forage for free. Because I love to share that information with you. Until next time, friends.
Bye.
Bye. We'll see you later.
I got a green shirt.
You do have on a green shirt.
It's dirty.